Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live, somebody. Let's go.
Good morning. Good afternoon and good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. We got some breaking news that's going on. It's been going on for a little bit now. But there was a small plane crash that happened in Boca Raton, and things are not looking good. It's a really bad situation. Of course, I wanted to share this and talk to you guys about this because, as of late, there's just been nothing but crash after accident after accident. It's been absolutely insane and wild here. And I wanted to hop on real quick and give you guys this information. And be on the lookout because I do have another video coming out most likely directly after this. And it revolves around another case that we've been talking about quite a bit. It has to do with the Austin Metcalf, Carmelo Anthony case that we have been talking about as of late. There's been some new stuff. We're going to talk about that in another video, in a pop-up video. So be on the lookout for that. And if you haven't heard anything about the other video, I just put up a video talking about the recent helicopter crash in New York City. There's been some new updates revolving around that. So please go check that out after this show, okay? But please do me a favor, before we get into everything, hit that like button down below. Hit that reaction button if you can. That'd be greatly appreciated. Hit that reaction button. Don't forget, if you're watching on other platforms like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, make sure you hit that follow button over there. Subscribe here on my main channel. Go to my secondary channel. I just put out a video on the second channel too, about 20 minutes ago. So go to the second channel, the Pascal Show clips. We got some stuff revolving around the Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively-ish. So go check that out if you can. That'd be awesome. Hit that join button down below, become a member, check out my Patreon, check out my locals, and of course, check out PascalMerch.com, okay? PascalMerch.com, we got some really good stuff over there. Go check it out, okay, cabron? Let's go. All right, guys. We have something that's going on out of Boca Raton, Florida, all right? There has been something pretty wild. I'm still kind of find out more information about this, but this is pretty crazy. And as you can see the footage down below, 3 people have lost their lives. A small plane crashes in Boca Raton. So we're going to get straight into this so we can see all of what is going on. But before we go into some video and all that, they say that this is a plane that crashed near the Boca Raton airport. Of course, there's some things that are still, we're still trying to understand what the heck is going on here. How did this whole thing go down? And of course, my thoughts and prayers go out to the 3 people that lost their lives. Okay. So apparently they were saying that there were allegedly bodies everywhere, at this crash scene, which is absolutely terrifying and absolutely terrible. But 3 people on board a small plane lost their lives after it crashed Friday this morning, okay, near the Boca Raton airport in Florida. 1 person on the ground sustained non-life-threatening injuries, okay. This is what the Boca Raton Fire Rescue Assistant Chief said, okay, at a news conference. The plane's pilot reported rudder issues shortly before the crash, okay, a source with knowledge of the situation told NBC News. And this is, of course, the article that we're reading from. The Cessna 310 aircraft was leaving the Boca Raton airport when it went down at around 10:20 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It was headed to Tallahassee International Airport. And you can see right here, this is bad, y'all. Look at that. That's absolutely insane. And of course, even when they're, like the big 747 type planes to the small planes to the helicopters to God knows what, it's still absolutely terrifying and absolutely heartbreaking to see people lose their lives in this type of fashion. And given the fact that we've been hearing a lot more about these types of accidents, even more than ever before, it's pretty wild, right? It's a pretty scary and pretty wild thing. But again, 3 people have lost their lives. due to this crash, to this small plane crash. So they said the plane seemed to circle in the air before turning back towards the airport in Boca Raton. Witnesses who work in the area reported seeing the aircraft flying low and then felt the building shake. So the plane burst into flames after it crashed, according to a news station. Video shows debris scattered across a roadway and train tracks. The station reported what appeared to be two bodies could be seen in the debris, as well as a damaged vehicle. Okay. Police said in a post on X just before 11 a.m. that the area of Military Trail and Glades Road was closed due to the crash. And of course, we're going to take a look at this footage here in just a minute. It's unclear what caused the crash. The FAA and the NTSB, National Transport Safety Board, are investigating. Okay, and of course, the Boca Raton Airport is briefly closed following this crash. Let's take a look at this video. I'm going to play one more time. And you know that there's going to be plenty more footage, but as you can see, it looks like a car that's on fire, right? Obviously, that was in the wake of this crash. This eventually ended up becoming a very fiery crash, right? This is wild stuff, but let's take a look. I guess the news used this footage as well. So let's take a look at this as well.
Out of Florida. That's where a small plane crashed in Boca Raton this morning. Aerial footage from NBC Miami shows debris scattered across a major roadway and nearby train tracks, while fire crews hose down the wreckage. Right now, police have completely shut down the road in both directions while they further investigate. NBC News correspondent Marissa Parra is headed to that scene as we speak, and she joins us with the latest. Marissa, what do you know about the specific location of the crash? I know that you're there in the car, but do we have any sense on potential casualties at this point?
At this moment, we do not know. What we know from the FAA is that there were 3 people on board, and we are waiting further details. We are waiting further details beyond that. But according to the FAA, which has given us a preliminary statement, this was a Cessna 310. This is a twin-engine plane. It's a small 6-seater. Again, the FAA is saying that there were 3 people on board. We haven't heard anything about the status of those 3 people. The few details we do have are that the plane took off from Boca's airport, and it was headed for Tallahassee, but shortly after departure is when the plane crashed. And when we look at the flight radar path, flight radar is a way that, we can see the flight paths. You see the plane does circles around the area where it did crash. So
Okay, I have to ask this, because from what I understand, a lot of these planes, like if the engine goes out, it can literally glide in the air, right? So I'm wondering why this is happening when the plane is just like literally just, it seems as if these planes are just nosediving straight to the ground, falling like rocks from the sky. So I'm wondering why. Because, I've had many conversations with people who are, pilots or know aviation very well, know planes very well. And they say like these planes should be able to glide through the air without any propellers or, any propulsion. They should be able to just, glide through the air. Yes, they're going to be going down pretty quick, but they're not going to be going like boom and then go into a fiery mess, right? So I'm wondering about that too. You know what I mean? Maybe it's something, I'm going to see if I can get somebody who, maybe I can get somebody who knows planes very well, to come back on, have on the show to talk about this, because I've talked to people personally, aviators, very very experienced flyers, right? That have said, yeah, I mean, these planes, I mean, shoot, they can glide in the air. I mean, obviously, there's one thing you got to worry about is landing. But if it's a Cessna, and actually, let me look that up. What did they say? What number was it? A Cessna 310, if I'm correct. Hold on. I don't mean to interrupt this, but I'm just curious. Cessna 310. Let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at a Cessna 310. Because if I'm correct, landing gear is already, it's a part of the, like, it's outside. It doesn't, I don't think it goes into the plane. It's already out. It stays out, if I'm correct. Let's take a look. Cessna 310. Oh, maybe it doesn't. I guess this is the one that does. Let me show you guys. I guess these do go in to the plane. So you're telling me that the landing gear completely went kaput as well? Operating the landing gear? And if I'm correct, the landing gear, you also have two different options. You have either they do it mechanically, right? Like it does, like you hit a button and it'll go and all the landing gear will come out, right? Electronically, or you can manually roll it down, right? Now, I'm this is just stuff that I've learned from back in the day. But last I heard, you can literally crank, especially in these planes, you can. I thought you can crank the landing gear down. So it does make you wonder: did everything just shut down? Did the whole thing malfunction at the same doggone time? I don't know. It just seems a little bit weird. But let me finish this video.
We, of course, all of us collectively, including investigative authorities and bodies, are going to be looking into why this happened. There's a lot of chatter online. Again, we are only going to stick to what we know and what we can report and what is fully confirmed. So we're going to work really hard to get you some new information in the next hour.
Now, one thing is for sure. They said here, too, that on-person ground sustained line. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Where was it? The pilot reported rudder issues shortly before the crash. So the plane's pilot said, we have problems with the plane right now. Dang. That's what they radioed in. So the pilot didn't have like a heart attack or anything of that sort that we know of, okay? Or didn't have any type of mental health break or anything of that sort. All we know is what he reported or what they reported, which was the plane is having issues, rudder issues. And then suddenly, boom, it goes down. And so, again, it just doesn't make sense. You heard them say that the plane circled back around. They said that the plane seemed to circle in the air before turning back towards the airport in Boca Raton. Witnesses who work in the area reported seeing the aircraft flying low and then felt the building shake. So again, see what I'm saying? So it just doesn't make any sense that these individuals, this plane would crash in the fashion, in the way that it did. I'm not sitting here saying that it's not possible, okay? And I'm not sitting here saying, oh yeah, there's foul play. No. I'm just saying it just, in regards to these kind of crashes, it does make you wonder what is actually going on here and why did it go why is it going the way it's going down, right? The fact that this plane just fell out of the sky like a rock. It's kind of like the same thing when we talked about the one that happened in Philly, right? That plane just went down like a fiery missile out of nowhere. So it makes you wonder, how does this happen, right? Hold on one second, guys. Get some videos here. Man, oh man. Pretty crazy stuff, y'all. Let's take a look at this. Wow. Take a look at this. That's loud.
Well, because yeah, but it doesn't affect the traffic.
I mean, our meeting still went.
Let me roll back a little bit. I mean, to me, obviously, right there, at this moment, it looks like they're covering up bodies that they found. I mean, this is terrifying stuff. Sorry, guys, I'm just scrubbing through because they've been talking about this for at least an hour or two now.
Man, because he ended up on the bridge.
That's the first one.
Looks like there was a report here, or a press conference. So I'm gonna go into the beginning here.
Transportation Safety Board of the FAA will give a further update in the coming hours.
One more time, sir, on the people that were on board.
I'm sorry.
There were 3 people on board again. Tell me how many on the plane and how many on the ground?
3 on the plane, 3 souls on board, and we could confirm those were all fatalities. One gentleman on the ground he hit a tree because of all the debris and the fire. It's non-life-threatening injuries on him. We treated him and sent him to the hospital.
Did the plane strike a car?
Hold on.
Did the plane strike a car, and was the person in the car killed?
No, non-life-threatening injuries on the gentleman in the car.
Yeah, so plane crashed, guy freaked out, understandably, lost control of his car due to the fire, debris, all that stuff. I mean, imagine driving your car and then out of nowhere, right in front of you, a plane just drops right in front of you. Imagine that. Yeah, you're going to react. And then he ran into a tree. He's okay, but that person has not lost his life, and he's okay. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Where is he now?
No, it was from the fireball on the ground. He drove through apparently the
That's crazy.
fireball, and this is unconfirmed. Okay, at this time...
Were there any calls beforehand of the plane in distress in the air?
I don't know that. We'll have to wait for the national. They'll pull the tapes. We just responded to the call, the police department, the fire department, and we handle the call as we need be. Again, more information will be coming. At this time, that's it. All the questions I could take right now. I'm going to introduce the mayor of Boca Raton, Scott Singer, would like to say a few words. Mr. Mayor.
On behalf of the city, we express our heartbreak at this tragic loss of life. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the families and all affected of the deceased. We can be grateful in tragic moments like this for the swift action of our Boca Raton Fire Rescue Department and our Boca Raton Police Department, who work to minimize the harm and respond to the immediate concern from the fire. And we are grateful for their continued work and partnership with other agencies who will be handling the lead on the investigation, as Chief LaSalle mentioned, the NTSB. In times of tragedy, I'm grateful for the spirit and care that is so strong in our community so we can help all affected get through this as quickly as possible. And grateful again for our first responders and their diligent service always.
We understand they were on their way to Tallahassee. Do you know anything else about
We don't have that information. I'm sorry. The NTSB, it's been very active scene. It's been very, very busy. That's really all the information I have. We will definitely let you know when the next briefing will be. The NTSB, again, is en route to the call right now. The State Fire Marshal is on scene right now, and they're doing just a minor investigation on the fire. That'll complete.
Thank you, everybody.
We don't have that information right now. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
I am sure they're trying to figure it all out. I mean, obviously this happened about 40 minutes ago, this whole press conference. So I'm sure they're still trying to get as much information as they can. I mean, they're not going to know everything right off the bat, especially the identity of the people that were in the plane. That might take a little bit. Also, they may know, or they may actually know the names of the people in the plane, but they want to be respectful, and make sure that they have the people identified, but they also want to be respectful of the families that may not know anything yet, and they're trying to maybe reach out to next of kin before they actually make it public their names. That's a possibility as well, right? But let's continue on. There's more here. This is just one of them. Just saw that and wanted to share that with y'all. But yeah, this is some crazy, devastating stuff. Let's take a look at this.
Breaking news of a small plane crash in Boca Raton. The twin-engine plane crashed at about 10:30 this morning, causing this scene. You can see the foam on the roadway right there. Our emergency crews very busy with that. There's a backup on 95. The airport is closed, and we are learning much more about this from investigators and authorities on the scene. In fact, our Kayla McDermott on the phone with us right now. Kayla, we're searching for more information here. You've confirmed some on the way there.
Yes, I did. I've been speaking with the Boca Raton Airport, and they were able to tell me, as you mentioned, that this is a twin-engine propeller aircraft, and it did not happen at the airport. It happened close to it on Military south of Glades. We do know that Boca Police and the fire department are on scene, and as of right now, the airport is closed as well, just for precaution. Again, it didn't happen at the airport, though, and I have been speaking with parents as well, because this happened close to Boca Raton High School, and they said that their kids saw this plane go down, and they've been taking video, and you can see the smoke and debris, and they're saying that the students can smell it inside the school, which is also currently on lockdown, parents are telling me.
Okay, Kayla, maybe I'll keep you on the phone here as we still take a look at this live view, small plane crash in Boca Raton. We are confirming with the authorities first before we talk about any injuries, any deaths associated with this. But again, you're taking a look at a scene, folks, that started at 10:30 this morning. The airport is closed right now, right in the area of Military Trail and Glades Road. In fact, the Boca Raton Police Department is telling us roads around this, as you can imagine, closed right now. In fact, that overpass also on 95 that goes over Glades Road is shut down for the time being, east and westbound. If you can avoid this area at all, please do. So far, we talked to investigators about that. As you take a look at a map of where we're talking about here, a very busy intersection, a very busy airport, a Boca Raton airport. Small planes fly in and out of there all the time. This was a twin-engine plane. We do have backups on 95 as well, we are told, as that overpass is closed on Glades Road. As we get more information, we will confirm it with you. But again, trying to confirm how many people were on this plane and how many people were injured. Right now, we want to bring it back to the studio. We want to show this next, producers. If we go where we are next with this, we'll go to the webpage right now. You can follow this all as you get on the go right now. You can see right there on the right-hand side of your screen, that's 95 southbound. So that's going toward Glades Road, near where this accident scene is, not far from 95. You can see the slowdowns already starting. The scene there, a Military Trail where that small plane crashed. Again, only about a half an hour ago. This scene very fresh here. Investigators and authorities, emergency crews all still getting to the scene. It appears they did put out the fire.
Yeah, crazy stuff. Crazy stuff, y'all. There's more. There is more. There's like a shot from the highway too. Someone taking I mean, it's not the greatest of footage, but yeah, that's as good as it gets. Dang. So not the greatest of footage, but you can see the smoke. Everyone can see the smoke from the actual highway as they're, doing things. That's pretty nutty. That's pretty nutty.
We have some breaking news that we have just coming into the newsroom now, and what you're looking at are images from Chopper 6 as what we have just confirmed as a small plane crash It happened just west of I-95 near Glades Road. It appears that's Glades Road, the road that you see going right above the train tracks there. We don't have a lot of information now, but you can see the emergency responders there on the scene responding to what appears, again, to be a small plane that just crashed.
And we're hearing this crash happen roughly 15 to 20 minutes ago. We have been able to see some video on social media, but obviously here you can tell that fire rescue crews arrived on the scene. The white foam you see on the roadway obviously indicating there was some sort of firefight that took place there at that location. At this point, we are unclear of any injuries reported, how many people might have been on board this plane, but we do know that plane was on its way to the Boca Raton airport nearby.
We do have some information we're just getting in. Again, this happened very recently, and we're working to get as much info as we can. We do know North Military Trail is closed right now between Northwest 19th Street and Butts Road. I-95 overpass at Glades Road, which we're looking at right here, is closed in both the eastbound and westbound lanes. So again, you see some emergency responders there on I-95 eastbound and westbound, but no other cars are getting through right now. So that's going to cause a obviously major situation throughout the day, because we have what appears to be a tragic scene there on Glades Road right there below I-95, where a small plane has crashed about 15 minutes ago, 20 minutes ago. The airport isn't far from there, the Boca Raton airport, just a short distance from where we see this plane crash. We don't have the confirmation as to whether this plane was taking off or heading toward this airport. Obviously, it's a fluid situation, everything happening very, very recently. So getting this confirmed information is tough, but that's what we're working to do right now to try to get you as much info as we can. But again, just take note, if you're heading out right now, or if you have family and friends getting ready to hit the roadways there, I-95 northbound and eastbound at Glades Road is closed right now, as is North Military Trail at 19th Street there in Butts Road. So keep that in mind as you're heading out right now, because this is going to cause obviously a major traffic situation as well.
Let me, I got some other footage that I want to show y'all. There's some more stuff here. Just like, oh man, this is crazy. The stuff is crazy, for sure. Plenty of footage out here showing the craziness of the fiery mess that's going on here. Let's take a look at this. Look at that, y'all. That's crazy. Terrifying stuff, huh? Terrifying stuff, guys. And of course, you know, things more and more footage is starting to roll out as time goes on. What is going on? How is this constantly happening? Right? Then there's another post here. Take all this with a grain of salt, but it's saying this is the track of the Cessna 310, okay, that crashed in Boca Raton. It was stuck in a left-hand turn somehow, and thus appeared uncontrollable during landing. The flight control surfaces are controlled by a pulley system. Feels like a maintenance failure. Look at this. This is allegedly what was being seen on Flight Radar 24. So just stuck in a left, that's some scary stuff. That is some scary stuff, y'all. Take that in. Okay? Take that in. That's some scary stuff. Landing gear controlled by some sort of pulley system. But then you wonder, you know, maybe that everything shut down? Like, what? You know what I'm saying? All of it shut down? All of it just didn't work? A wing goes off, a wing, say it's causing the plane to just veer left the entire time. You're going left the entire time. So you're sitting there going, maybe I can just, go in circles and eventually land, right? I can go in a left-hand turn circle until I get low enough where I can, I thought that they had a manual system as well. If it doesn't work electronically, you can manually roll the landing gear down manually, just roll it down and then land. But this is crazy, right? I mean, of course, this is somebody tracking what they saw. And then second, okay, it's just the theory that's being said here, which is, it was stuck in a left-hand turn, okay, somehow, and thus appeared uncontrollable during landing. The flight control surfaces are controlled by a pulley system, right? So it feels like a maintenance failure. I mean, it's scary to think that, a maintenance failure, right? But then everything goes haywire. Everything just ish the bed. That just doesn't make any sense, guys. It just doesn't. Oh, snap. We got some more footage. Whoa. That's crazy. Let's take a look at this too. This is right at impact, it looks like. Take a look at this.
Oh my God. Oh,
wow.
Shit.
Wow.
Oh my God. Oh, shit.
I'm gonna mute it because we've already heard what he said. But at the same time, is this maintenance failure? Is this a maintenance failure? Like, again, how many times are we gonna see planes falling from the sky, helicopters plummeting to the ground, taking the lives of, young kids and families and all that stuff, innocent lives? How many times are we gonna see this before we realize, okay, maybe it is a maintenance thing. Maybe we need to look into our stuff a little bit more. Maybe we need to do a more thorough checklist to make sure that everything's up to par before these aircrafts go up in the doggone air. I'm just saying, dang, man. Like, how many times are we going to see this till we go, hey, something's not right. We need to fix this so that we can have our people still alive. This stuff freaks me out. And I'm not a big fan of flying. I don't like flying. Dag nabbit. But this confirms it even more. I don't know about y'all, but I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. Oh, don't get me wrong. When it's up there and the flight is nice and smooth and everything, oh, it's great. And you're looking out at the, and especially if you're flying during the day and you can see everything, and it's not just super cloudy. You can see down below you, like, wow, everything's so beautiful. Everything's dope. When there's not all this turbulence and stuff and people just, you know what I mean? Plane just doing this the entire time. Yeah. You know what I mean? I enjoy the flight once we're up there. You know what I'm saying? Or the night time when you start landing, especially like when you're landing in New York, you can see the skyline before you land. You're like, wow, it's so beautiful, right? There's some really great things about flying. Don't get me wrong. Okay. I love to travel. I just don't like the moments when the planes are flying through crazy storms and stuff, and you feel like the whole plane's about to rip in half, right? But again, how often are we going to see these things? Like, you got to understand, in the very beginning, we were having man, over the past couple of years, it's been nothing but videos of people losing their doggone minds on planes. Now not only are we seeing people losing their minds on planes, now we're seeing people get buck naked in the terminals, running around, losing the doggone minds now too. So instead of you getting, I don't know about y'all, but that mother effer is not real. That whole thing, now we're getting it on land as well. Then on top of that, we're having planes falling from the sky because of maintenance issues. You realize this is not helping the situation, right? So how often are we going to go through this till they look at this and say, yep, we might need to pull up our britches and do some more about making sure these planes are ready to take off. That's all I'm asking. When is it going to happen? Because we are seeing more and more people losing their lives, dagnabbit. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. There's so many, some of them I've even missed, right? There's been a lot of people that have live streamed talking about it and everything, but there's so many that we have missed. It's been insane, y'all. The amount of planes that have just been dropping out of the sky. Where is the maintenance? Where is the accountability for the loss of these people's lives? Where they realize, okay, we're gonna take accountability, we're gonna fix this, we're gonna nip this in the bud so we have people traveling safely and happily. We got more footage. Let's take a look at this too.
Oh shit.
Oh, jeez, shit. Man. That's crazy.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Thank God that guy in that car is okay. That's madness.
Fuck, are you okay?
Wow. I mean, get him out the car.
Who's in this car?
That car about to go off.
Who's in this car? I don't know. All right.
Man, that's some scary stuff, y'all. Okay? Like, that's some scary stuff. Imagine being there and then seeing that. And then, you know, it sounds like it looks like he was talking to like the guy, maybe potentially a guy in the car, but I'm like, I don't know. Try to open the car and see if somebody's in there. I don't know. You know what I mean? What do you do in that kind of situation? Let's continue. Let's look at this again.
Shit.
That's some scary stuff, y'all.
Oh shit. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Literal scorched earth. That's so crazy, right?
Fuck, are you okay? Who's in this car? Who's in this car? I don't know.
I mean, eventually for me, I don't know about you, but I'd be so worried about the car going off, like exploding. Because maybe in my mind, I'm like, maybe I've watched way too many 1990s action flicks, and every car, whenever they're anywhere near fire, they explode, right? But I would instantly think like, oh man, you know, like we need to get whoever's in this car out as quickly as possible because the car's engulfed in flames, right? It was surrounded by flames. So it does make you wonder, like, you know, was he in the car? Or was that person in the car at that time? Or was he still stuck in there? Because he could have been passed out, right? From the impact of hitting the tree. That's possible too. But we got more. This is crazy, y'all. Just be safe when you're traveling, y'all. This is crazy.
We have some breaking news now, some live images of a small plane crash in Boca Raton, Florida. That's about an hour north of Miami. Well, there's not much left of it. It crashed and burned on a major highway just a short time ago. Right now, the area is shut down, as you can see. I mean, it's very, very rare that you see freeways in that part of the country, that part of the state of Florida just brought to a halt. Investigators are trying to figure out exactly what caused that. So far, no word on a possible cause or about the passengers on board. We'll update you as we learn more. We have some breaking news.
That's, you know, again, scary stuff going on, y'all. Scary stuff going on, for sure. Yeah, people have just been filming and filming and filming. We got more. Let's take a look at this. Craziness, y'all. Craziness.
Viado, não é possível que isso é só um carro, mano. Olha aqui, mano, tudo.
I don't know what it was. The whole building shook. Yeah, it was like dive bombing or something. It was weird. I heard it like zooming by a couple times, and then I just heard.
You heard that? The guy said, I heard it zoom by a couple times because it was clearly in a, like, kind of just flying in a circle, like we heard in the reports, right? And then all of a sudden, boom, right? Let's hear that again.
I don't know what it was. The whole building shook. Yeah,
it was like dive bombing or something. It was weird. I heard it like zooming by a couple times, and then I just heard. I think a plane crashed.
That's crazy. That is crazy. Yeah. Again, what happened here? Why did this happen? Why the heck did this happen? Yeah, people have been filming like crazy. Wow. Let's take a look at that. Hold on, guys. Let's see. Video captures the moment plane crashed near Boca Raton or Boca Raton. Okay. How do you say it? Boca Raton or Boca Raton? I'll just leave that up to you guys. Okay. Boca Raton airport after declaring emergency. Let's take a look at this. This is crazy too. Have mercy. That's some crazy stuff, y'all. Scary times, y'all. Scary times to travel. It's so crazy to even say that. Just man, oh man. Just seeing if there's anything else here. A lot of it is just showing plumes of smoke, right? Billowing in the air after the crash. Let's finish this news clip.
For those familiar with this area near Boca Raton at the airport, this is adjacent to Florida Atlantic University. So the stadium, several buildings. Obviously, this will be impacting any traffic going in and out of the school as there's thousands of students and staff members there as well. Of course, this crash reported roughly 20 to 30 minutes ago. We're seeing dozens of agencies there responding to this location, firefighters on the scene. Initially, we heard there was a fire nearby, and we can tell there was some sort of firefight that took place at this location. We're hearing that portions of Glades Road shut down, Military Trail shut down. Not quite sure if I-95 at this point.
Eastbound those are the two lanes you see above. That's the I-95 overpass that you're looking at. Eastbound and westbound lanes that are closed right now.
Okay, so take the Turnpike or US 1 if you are traveling northbound, southbound this afternoon, I should say, or morning if you're traveling. But again, this is a very serious incident reported near the Boca Raton airport. A crash taking place less than 20 minutes ago. Also a fire likely right after that crash. Closing down I-95 northbound and southbound near Glades and Military Trail. Instead, you're going to want to stick to the Turnpike or US 1 Federal Highway if you're traveling northbound or southbound. As far as this accident, police have confirmed there was a small plane that was involved with this crash. We're not quite sure if there might have been any other vehicles on the roadway when this crash happened. We're still trying to collect information at this time.
Yeah. Again, if you're just joining us right now, we're approaching the 11 o'clock hour. Within the past half hour, we don't have the exact time as to when this plane went down, but there was a small plane that crashed. And this is what you're looking at just to give you an idea logistically. This is Glades Road, and that's the I-95 overpass that you see going over Glades Road. You see the railroad tracks as well. And that appears to be where that plane crashed. You see the white foam, and you can see some debris there, and you see emergency responders, the vehicles and the personnel there on the ground. You see them up above on I-95. which, by the way, is shut down in both the eastbound and westbound lanes. This is obviously a major scene here. So they've shut down both I-95 eastbound and westbound lanes so that their emergency responders can assess that situation, figure out the details of what's going on. As we work to do the same, we want to get you the information as far as the number of people on the plane, the type of plane, where it was coming from, if it was leaving, if it was coming, whether or not it was attempting to land at the Boca airport. That's all information we don't have at this point. Information we're working to get, and as that comes out, we'll be sure to share that with you. But for right now, you can see emergency responders were able to apparently put that fire out. It looks like there was a fire. You see the white foam there. Much more on this coming up.
Yeah. Insane. Absolutely insane. Hold on. Hold on 1 second, guys. Just trying to pull this up. More and more video. More and more video, live footage that's going on. Of course, a lot of people are trying to figure out what the heck is going on. Totally understandable. I'm kind of curious about it as well. And how this went down. Let's take a look at this. Corey, what up, man? Thank you so much for being a member for the past 3 months. Again, what's going on now? Yeah, I know, man. I'm wondering the same doggone thing. Right now, it looks like investigators are on the scene of this small plane crash. And so just so you know, for those of y'all who are just getting in, first off, let me just say this. First off, it's just a little maintenance thing for the channel. All right. If you are not getting notifications, okay, please do me a favor. Turn off your notification bell and then turn it on again. Okay. Make sure you set it to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because for some odd reason, every few months we'll be cooking. We're doing just fine. Everything's good and all that. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, everyone has issues getting notifications and getting updates or YouTube letting them know that I'm live or that I've uploaded a video. So I urge you guys to please make sure you have that notification bell set to all, or periodically just check the page. I know that's a lot to ask, but again, just check the page periodically, or just turn off that notification bell and turn it back on. Okay? Just so you know. All right. Because again, love having you guys here, love being able to do what I do. But at the same time, it's hard to get you guys to know what's going on, especially if the notifications are on the fritz. And it happens every once in a while. OK, so just make sure you turn off that notification bell, turn it back on, set it to all if you'd like. Set it to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because a lot of times it's breaking news and it's random. So just do that. OK, so let's continue. All right. So as we know, all right, investigators are on the scene, okay, and they're looking into what the hell happened here. Totally understandable. This is a crazy situation that just doesn't make any sense. Now there is and TM, thank you so much. I appreciate you resubscribing. Okay. Sometimes that works too. You unsubscribe and then resubscribe again. Sometimes that helps turn the notification bells on and get things back up to snuff again. Sometimes you got to do that too, just so you guys know. All right. Those are just two tactics you can try. All right. Unsubscribe, then resubscribe, or hit that notification bell, turn it off, turn it back on, set it to all. But here's the thing. Okay. Here is the this is what's weird. From what we understand, and for those of y'all who are just getting here, okay, apparently this plane was having rudder issues. We just saw a flight radar or a flight pattern from flight radar 24, where it shows that this plane was basically kind of stuck in a left turn kind of maneuver. And it was just kind of it's almost as if the pilot was trying to go and get lower and lower to the ground if he could, and then try to land. But apparently they're saying that the landing gear did not work. So this thing just fell, like just basically belly flopped on the ground from what we understand, and then burst into flames. And yet that's weird, right? That's a little bit weird. Of course, we don't know everything, but of course everyone is saying that they were hearing this plane whizzing by a bunch of times, like it did a bunch of passes, and then all of a sudden, boom, it just crashed. Now, could it be birds? We don't know. But he's the pilot. I feel like the pilot would have said, we hit something, or, you know, something hit us and we're having problems with our rudder or something of that sort, right? But that's not what they're claiming to have happened. They're saying that this pilot literally just said, we are having problems with our rudder. And then, of course, from what we saw, looked like that airplane was just in a left turn maneuver all the way down to the ground before it crashed. So again, there's a lot of questions that still have not been answered. In fact, what Jane just asked, which is a very good question. Okay, was there a check done before it took off? Absolutely. You'd think that there are checks that are done before every plane takes off. Okay, from the commercial airlines all the way down to the small personal planes, that they do all checks before they even get into the doggone plane to take off. Every single plane does this. Okay, it's mandatory. Even American Airlines and all the major airlines, okay, they all go through checks every single time. As soon as that plane lands, or before they take off, okay, or in between takeoffs, you know what I mean? Because they fly from one place to drop off people, then they go from Chicago to Dallas, then Dallas to Houston, then Houston to Chicago, then Chicago to New York, then New York to Miami. Every single time they make a stop, they go through the checks over and over and over again to make sure, okay, this is working, that is working, landing gear is working, this is working. We have enough fuel for this. We have enough. All the things are all the bells and whistles are bells and whistling. Okay, that's what they should be doing, right? So it does make you wonder when it comes to the smaller planes as well. Are they really doing that as well? From my understanding, they do. But sometimes that particular person who's checking all the boxes may go, you're going to be fine with one more flight. Yeah, this will hold off for like 2 more flights. Yeah, we're just going to check it now because it's too costly, and it'll ground this plane for too long, and we need to make money. So this will last like another 2 or 3 flights. That's possible, okay? Which is still, in my personal opinion, insane. Okay, that's insane and very, very dangerous. Okay, all right. But yes. So again, very, very interesting. Nonetheless, all right, very interesting. And of course, we're gonna find out more information as this bad boy continues to percolate on. But again, I'm still curious. How is this whole thing going down? How did this happen? And why does it keep happening? All right. Let me see if there's anything more. Maybe there's an update here somewhere. But yeah, as you can see, they're just doing their due diligence, trying to get as much information, trying to figure out what happened here, why it happened, and all that, which is still crazy. Just checking a few more things, guys. Let's check out this.
Raton, 3 people are dead after a plane crash near Boca's airport. 1 person on the ground was hurt. This all happening on North Military Trail. Good afternoon. I'm Jay Jarvis. Our Rachel Perry is at the scene right now with the latest details. Rachel, what can you tell us?
Well, Jade, we just heard from the assistant fire chief for the Boca Raton Fire Rescue, who confirmed, like you said, 3 people died in that plane and 1 person was injured on the ground here in their car. I'll take a step out of your way. We can still see this is still a very active scene. Now, officials say the call came in at 10:12 this morning for a plane in trouble. That plane was leaving Boca Raton Airport. The assistant fire chief saying the plane was having some sort of mechanical issues. The plane went down here on North Military Trail, killing 3 people on board. 1 person has non-life-threatening injuries after officials say they drove through a fireball and crashed into a tree. Again, we know 3 people died and 1 person is injured. This is still an extremely active investigation, so we'll keep you updated as we learn more. For now, live in Boca Raton, Rachel Perry, WPBF 25 News.
Well, while we've gotten here, we have heard multiple witnesses talk to us since this crash happened, and we have all heard the same exact thing, that they all saw that this plane was flying very low. This is a very heavily office area, and some people in office buildings that were a little bit higher up say they were flying almost eye level with the cockpit. That's how low this plane was flying. They didn't know exactly what was going on. They didn't know that the plane was in danger, and then a few moments later, that's when they heard a loud explosion, and multiple people we talked to walked outside and they saw a large fireball. They saw all the debris on the ground here on Military Trail, and all of them felt this, some from at least a block away. They felt a huge vibration here, and there's just a lot of people here in shock as well. We actually talked to one man who tells us that he saw this plane fly around and then he heard that explosion. Here's what he had to say.
I don't think anybody, ever thinks that they're going to see something like this in life. And if I wouldn't have saw that, I probably wouldn't drive over here. I don't think that it's, and prayers to anyone, the families, anyone that was affected by it. But I was just, from seeing that, I was curious, like what had happened. When I was coming over here, I was curious to find out, like, if it was like mechanical failure. I didn't see any smoke from the plane or anything.
Still a lot of confusion out here for a lot of the witnesses. We saw many people walking outside of their office buildings. It seems like some of them have finally moved back inside, but there's still a lot of road closures around this area for people who need to get to work. We know Military Trail is closed. So up near Butts Road, that's closed as well, and just traffic is being directed all over this area. So there's still a bit of confusion, but a lot of shock for the witnesses here in this area. For now, we're live.
Okay. Yeah. A lot of craziness going on here, guys. A lot of planes falling from the sky. For what reason, I don't even know. It's been pretty insane, to say the least. But again, this is nuts. And I keep wanting to know, what is the reason behind it? What is the reason why this is always happening? Is it an ongoing thing of somebody just not properly doing their job? As far as maintenance, as far as, checking everything, making sure everything's on point before the plane takes off. Those are things I feel like we should be, that they, and NTSB and FAA, that's what they should be asking. Because, again, this is something that could have been avoided. Definitely could have been avoided if the checkpoints were properly checked. That's just what I think. I think it's a maintenance situation, a maintenance problem. But we'll see what's going on here soon enough. Okay. And my thoughts and prayers go out to the 3 that lost their lives, and of course everybody who's affected by it, especially the 1 person that was injured just driving down that street. That is terrifying. Okay, that's terrifying. And so when we get more information, we will talk about it here very, very soon. But before I get done, before I end this show, I do want to make sure you guys know I have a video that's going to be popping up here on this channel. It has to do with there's a few things that are going on with the Austin Metcalf, Carmelo Anthony case. There's something that just recently kind of stumbled upon my table, my desk just a little bit ago. And we are going to be talking about that very shortly. So be on the lookout for it. It's a pop-up. It's going to be a pre-recorded video. So be sure to check it out when that video drops. Anyway, that is the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. Really means a lot. All right. It's a busy news day and a busy day in general. So I'm going to try to get as much as I can done to get to you guys as soon as possible. So do me a favor before you head out. All right. Make sure that notification bell is on. So turn it off, turn it back on. If you're not getting notifications, do that. Okay. Turn it off, turn it back on. Set it to all. But most importantly, too, just for this video alone, hit that like button down below. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on other platforms, okay? Hit that follow button if you're watching on other platforms like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble. Also, if you are watching on those other platforms, or if you are not watching on those other platforms and you're watching here on my YouTube channel, subscribe here. Subscribe to my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Subscribe to that one. All right, make sure that notification bell is set to all over there as well. Okay, because a lot of times it's random and there's random topics and things that keep on popping off. So make sure you subscribe to both. All right, hit that join button down below. Check out my Patreon, check out my locals, check out pascalmerch.com as well. We got some really great stuff over there. Okay, guys. But anyway, I'll be talking to you guys very, very shortly. Be on the lookout for this latest video. You definitely don't want to miss this video. All right, especially if you've been following that case. Anyway, guys, it's time to get going. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is the Pascal Show. Bye.